Hi, it's Brian here from hang on, I'm getting distracted from one line at a time. Just going to turn my light on. Ooh, that was a bit bright. See, oh, I'm a bit zoomed in there, aren't I? Let me zoom it out a bit. There we go. I thought what I'd try today, just while I have a chat about mindfulness drawing and that, is I'll try it on a piece of paper rather than my pad. One of the things I like about doing meditative drawing, as it were, is how it really does connect you, which is one of the ABCs, isn't it? This pen's not very good, actually. I don't think the tip's a bit, I don't know, it might be okay. I'm using an 05. Don't know if you can see that because it's a bit blurred on the camera, but it's an 05. Just drawing anything really. Yeah, well, when you start these exercises, it's always good to go for your ABCs. Make sure that you're sitting comfortable. And obviously you breathe in. I can't remember what the A is called, but it's basically making sure you're positioned right. And the B is for breathing. Make sure you breathe in and out. It's very easy to tense up and hold your breath. Now, I'm used to using the iPad pen, and I must say there's nothing better than actually drawing on paper. You just can't beat it because of the grip, the teeth in the paper, the way it grabs the pen, and you can feel the resistance there. Where on the iPad you don't feel that resistance. So where I'm concentrating on my starting and my finishing, it's a lot simpler on paper than it is on the pad because it's very slidey. And I like to try and use the same pen. I have got a few pens that I could, smaller and bigger. I've also got these Zentangle pens as well. Those micron pens are better, I think. But to me, a pen's a pen, really, at the end of the day. But on paper, I must say, it's definitely easier for me now that I'm so used to the iPad, that when I get to use paper, it's actually a bit of a treat for me. So that's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on with these leaves. I'm going to layer them a bit, and I'm being very mindful and aware of my starting and finishing of the pen. That one went a bit over there, but that's fine. Because what you want to try and do is just not rush. If you're rushing, then you're not meditating, because you're letting your mind take over. The let's get this done, and that's not the motivation behind when you start one of these exercises. The motivation is the relaxing side of it, the meditative side of it, being connected. Just you, the pen and the paper, basically. Now this paper's, I'm just on a thin piece of paper here. I'm not using card, and I can sense that the ink is bleeding a little bit. It feels like it is. And I'm also holding the pen a bit wrong. With these pens, you're supposed to hold more downwards, but I just can't seem to get used to drawing like that. These pens, these technical pens, because of the way the nib is, they prefer a downward position. You also preserve your pen longer, because if you do it like you're using a biro, you bend the nib. So sometimes it's good to rotate the pen a little bit, like you do a pencil. Yeah, you wouldn't believe there's so much involved in using a pen. There you go. So we just, well, I'm just getting that filled up a little bit in it. My hand's sort of in the way, I think, but you can sort of see what I'm doing. Oops, not quite joined there. I don't know, I just fancy drawing one of these flowers today because they're easy. I used to find these quite difficult to do when I first started doing the meditative drawing. So, and I used to do a circle there. But over time, you sort of you develop your own sort of style a little bit. And I like the squiggly circle because my hands are never, quite shaky anyway. So I actually quite enjoyed that. And like I say, it's not really what I'm drawing, although I do want it to look fairly good. It's more of the process of the drawing that I'm into. So I'm just doing some flicks, and I love it with the pen because on the iPad that doesn't ever seem to come out right for me when I do the flicks. But with these pens, it is really good. And you know what? As I'm doing this, I'm thinking maybe I should do more paperwork, drawings on paper, than I do on the iPad. I mean, you can put this up on the wall. You can't just stick the iPad up on the wall, can I? Unless I get it printed, of course. Yeah, so I'm just going to darken more of these dots. Now, I'm trying to use the same pen. I know I could use a smaller nib. But like I say, I'm just doing this more for the meditation than the look. Yeah. So we have the flower. This paper's not very good, really. It's really, it's a bit like photocopy paper, really. But I've got so many of them, I thought I might as well use them. Let's just do a little bit of decor in the corners here, a little teardrop, maybe. Notice how I'm turning the paper a lot as well, rather than twisting my hand a lot. I do that on my iPad as well. As you probably notice, I rotate the screen all the time. But with paper, it's a lot easier, just literally turning it. So there's a lot of benefits to actually using paper than the iPad. Can't resist but put a little baby leaves in the background there. But notice I'm trying to keep my shapes from overlapping each other as well. It's not always easy. I'm used to zooming in when I'm doing these sort of little things, but I can't zoom in on paper, so I hold it up to my face, but I don't think that will help. But yeah, so just trying to make sure that these lines are like boundaries, where you don't want it to cross. I know I messed up here, but I acknowledge that. But overall, I think I haven't done too bad. And yeah, let's put a few of those dashes in there because I like doing them. It just looks so cool with the pen. On my iPad, I just can't get that effect, It just doesn't seem to be the same. See how it's thick and goes thin because of the flick? It's quite good. Oh, I've done that already. Oh, see? Oh, I've done it already. Maybe I should draw some more. They look a bit like tongues, don't they? That's why I like these shapes, because you can come in with a smaller pen and start doing stuff like that. It's sort of as if you're drawing it twice, and it gives it that sort of sketchy look. But it's better if you use a thinner pen, but I'm trying to just use the same pen, and it gives it that sketchy look. And they do look a bit like tongues. They always remind me of tongues hanging out. So that's why I like them. And we could put some more decor up here, maybe just for a few flicks, because I like doing that. Just 3 of them will do. Oh, I loved it I love it with that pen. It's so cool. And I could go around with a pencil and start the shading. It's a loud car. But I'm not going to in this video. Just wanted to do an exercise on paper. Oh, my badge. Got to add my badge in there somewhere. Let's put it here. The only downside with the paper is that you've got to watch where, you know, for smudging. Although my hand's all over this, but that's dried pretty quick. I think next time I'll use a bit of a card one. I've got a 4.5 card version of these. But these are good because, you know, they're so cheap. You're not really that fussed about mucking up on them. So, there you go. How are we doing? So that's basically what you would do for meditational drawing. Just being aware of the boundaries, to take your time, you know, and working through it. That's what I do. I just did one on the train on the way home, and time flew by. I was at my stop in no time. So you got to watch that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and talk again soon. Take care.